For the week here on Memories 96.5 FM. Welcome to the program. My name is NYAKNNO, Albert.
Thanks for joining us. I am ANIEFIOK, NKERUEWEM. It's a pleasure to be with you on the show. Yaki, you want to ask how do you do? How was the weekend?
Well, it turned out really nice.
Yeah.
Our is threatened from a swift intervention in the Republic. A week, if you may, since 11 Nigerian military personnel and the Nigerian Air Force aircraft, a C-130, have been detained in Burkina Faso after what the federal government says was a precautionary landing due to a technical fault. But Burkina Faso insists its airspace was violated, while Nigeria, on the other hand, said it followed international safety rules. So, is this a simple aviation and diplomatic misunderstanding, or a deeper test of Nigeria's influence, military posture, and regional leadership in the tense Sahel region? Well, this is the focus of our discussion on Melting Point today. Joining us in the studio this morning to shed some light on this issue is one of our regular analysts on the program, a public affairs analyst, of course, and social commentator Otueko Enquiry. Good morning, Enquiry. Welcome to the program today.
Yeah, thank you this morning. Good morning and happy weekend to everybody. And Osielo himself, I know you're enjoying
the oldies.
yes, the oldies. And then the Christmas village is taking a lot of our time. I know some of us have been there.
I've not been there yet.
Okay, I
like the confession. It's right on there.
I've not been there yet, honestly.
But I know Yaki has been there on several occasions.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, you can only speak for yourself. So remember, you can be part of the discussion via the phone lines on 0803 085 7755 and 0829 0666909. The second number serves as our WhatsApp number. We're also streaming live on YouTube at Memories TV Online. You can watch the program and drop your comment there, and we'll be reading it out here this morning. I mean, it's a pretty sensitive issue, and you would understand why we're having just one analyst today. Well, Dr. Wanabasudo asked to be excused because he's having to supervise the examination of PhD students at his university, and his course takes center stage today. And also, we tried to get in touch with some ex-security personnel to get to come on the program, but then we're here with our regular analyst Otueko this morning, who is going to do justice as much as he can. The federal government says the aircraft made a precautionary landing due to a technical issue in Burkina Faso, while Burkina Faso says its airspace was violated. From an international aviation and military standpoint, how are emergency or precautionary landings normally treated, and do you think Burkina Faso acted with an accepted global practice?
One thing we need to understand how these things are done before you fly over any other place. If you are going from here, say to UK or to Morocco, your flight path must be made known to every country you are going to cross path with. And you send him the time you are expected to fly over and everything you do. Airspaces are jealously guarded. People don't just allow you. Nations have shut down planes. I remember it was the Panama plane sometime in the 80s. We've had several being shut down. There was one that was shut down in Ukraine a few years back.
Australia.
Yes. We have that kind of incident. So when you want to do that, you have to give out your flight plan. Today with the internet is even easier. You send your flight plan, the time you're starting, and when you're expected to pass through that airspace, to the different countries you're supposed to pass through. And when you do that, those people will be expecting you. And even when you are, take for example, if there was an issue in your flight and you want to make an emergency landing, you send some information to the towers of this different country, the closest airport that you have, and they will know exactly what to do. In this case, we are hearing from what the Nigerian government is saying, they said he had a technical fault. But knowing how professional the Burkinabes have been in recent memory since this young man took over, it is like there was some kind of offense committed. The global best practices was not followed by the Nigerian pilots and the crew, and it's likely that that's where we are now. And going by the fact that the Burkinabes, there's a lot of challenges with that country over insecurity. You have the same kind of terrorism, and they're fighting a many-pronged war. One is against imperialists who wants to return the country back to that dependency level. We have seen it. That is why even on the media front, you notice that they have sent out all legacy media organizations in that country. Al Jazeera is no more there. BBC is not there. CNN is not there. Canal France International, all the Deutsche Welle, everything, Reuters, none of them is operating in that country. It's a nation that takes its security extremely seriously. So in a nation like that, you don't just go, if it was a mistake, which up to today I'm still doubting, because there are too many events that happen too close by, not to make the Burkinabes to be very suspicious. And it's not the first time they've detained some people. I remember they detained some French whom they accused to be intelligence officers. They detained them for a long time, and it was a serious bargain. And I think serious money changed hands before those intelligence officers have been released. The NGOs we have working in Nigeria today are not working in Burkina. They don't allow you. In fact, they follow you up. Recently, they arrested one of these NGOs, the operatives, and they said they have caught them with certain incriminating materials that point to the fact that they were more of spies than they were working for NGO. In fact, one of them, intelligence information about the movement of troops was discovered in that guy's hand, and they had to arrest the people. So in a nation that is very, very serious about its security, don't be surprised that they have taken this matter the way they have taken it. So Nigeria we need to do a lot to be able to create
Otuekam, you've talked about detention of soldiers. Despite claims of cordial treatment, 11 Nigerian Air Force personnel remain in detention 7 days and counting. Is it normal under international norms for a country to detain foreign military personnel in a case like this, especially when there is no proved hostile intent?
Well, I think we say there's no, and on the other side, they have not come out to say this is what actually happened. And I believe that's why
is an airspace violation hostile enough?
Well, airspace violation may be just one half of the story. Practices in making sure that their nation is safe. That is the way Nigeria should be operating. So we need to know from their own side of the story. Now, this is an intelligence work. And what we need to understand is that the Burkinabes are not going to be that forthcoming over information as far as they are still doing investigations about that matter. Because if you give out certain basic information you're finding out from those people, it's going to be a problem in your investigation. It can help them, give them a pre-information for them to plan how to vet whatever you are planning to do. I believe that those people are held incommunicado. They are not allowed to get in contact, because that's information we heard, that the relatives of these people said they have not had information. In fact, that's how they contacted. Initially we didn't even know. That is why the stories from the Burkinabes is more believable than what the Nigerian government is saying. Because initially they said everything was true. They have gone back to their flight path and all that things are just working. They have released them. And in fact, a very renowned presenter or reporter in this country, Seni Rufai, was one of those that announced, that reported that those people are before many other media organizations came up. He said it on his Twitter, a verified Twitter account. And then somebody even asked him there, how are you sure? Have you verified this information? From what we understand, it's like there has been a contact by the families that we have not heard anything from our brothers or sisters. You understand me? That is why the real information came out, that these people have not been released. So if in Nigeria we are hearing differing information, news coming out of this matter, and over from the Burkinabe side there is a very steady I mean, the information they are giving out have not changed. This is the reason they violated us airspace. We are holding them for interrogation. They have held the plane, and they want to find out what is happening. But on the side of Nigeria, we keep on hearing different information. Okay. So they seem to be more believable than.
All right, if you're just joining us, you're on to the melting point on Memories 96.5 FM. We're looking at events that culminated a couple of weeks, or a week ago, between Nigeria and Burkina Faso. Now, Enquiry, do you think, or some people say, that the events of the coup events of a couple of weeks back may have triggered the suspicion by the Burkina government to try to see if Nigeria wants to, expansionist tendencies. They're afraid of that if Nigeria perhaps may be coming over there to try to display what happened in Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah, we see.
And Benin Republic.
We see, one thing we need to understand is that it is just not a lot of people are talking about Nigeria and Burkina Faso. It is beyond that, and we know that since these young leaders, the leaders of the AES states, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger Republic, they took over power some few years from 2021 or 2020 to 2023, that we had between Mali, Burkina Faso came next, and then you had Niger Republic came. France has not been happy because these are not dependency government. They don't like the idea of this kind of people. The way you see the Western world disturb these three nations is not the same way they disturb a country like Guinea-Conakry. That the coup happened around the same time, because that person is still behaving the way the West want him to behave. He's married to a French woman, and he was a former French legionnaire, so they know they have him in their grips. But these three other countries, a different story entirely. They are continually fighting some kind of a revolution, So with the incident that happened in Benin Republic, you will not blame the government in Burkina Faso or Mali or Niger Republic to be very suspicious, because these two events are happening at very close period. You know that somebody like Ibrahim Traore has survived, I think, 22 coups as of now. You understand? To a point that the people of Burkina Faso sleep outside the palace. They do it turn by turn, 24 hours of a day. They have group after group that sleep. They said, if you want to kill the man, you have to take us. Recently, we had the last one that came up where his own personal aid was offered 5 million to kill the man. And the man, they did everything, got these people and got the money, and then exposed the people who were involved. In fact, in that investigation, Nigeria was not directly involved, but the people who were involved in that thing, some of them were in Nigeria. In fact, they pointed to the city of Warri as one of those places that one of them lived in, got some either thousands of dollars, and moved from one place to the other. They followed the trail of that man from one city in Nigeria to the other, right down to Burkina Faso. So, with the way these things are going on, you cannot blame the Burkina Faso for being very suspicious of the hand of France inside. Remember that the attack in Burkina Faso, where they aborted the coup, was at the behest of France. That the French president came out openly to declare that he aided the Nigerian government through logistic support in being able to stop the coup plotters. And it is more likely that the coup plotters in Benin Republic were more revolutionary than the normal ones that we normally see, like what you see in Guinea-Conakry or Guinea-Bissau. So the French government will not be happy, because France is 100% dependent. The weight of France is 100% dependent on the suffering of Africans. They are still printing.
When you say suffering of Africans,
yes,
what do you mean?
Yes, because they are the people controlling the resources of Africa, especially the 14 countries in Africa, and even they are coming into Nigeria as we speak. There's recently, just I think last week, there's a tax arrangement that they have signed. There's a way they are going to track those who are eligible to pay and all those things. Now, as we speak, the Northern group have now gone against. They are now suing. They are now planning to sue the federal government to cut over that tax something. So France depends 100%. So many parts of France today are suffering from lack of electricity since Niger Republic stopped them from mining uranium in the country, and throughout that country became bankrupt. That company became bankrupt. They are part of France now. I saw a video of one kind of stove heater they are using, which uses kerosene. You understand me? It is selling highly in France, which they are now using like this winter. They are going to use it to warm themselves because the cost of electricity is too high, and some places they are rationing power in France simply because one thing that at the behest of France, Mr. President, when the 2023 coup happened in Niger Republic, wanted to invade Niger. The same thing is doing with these people, but those people were telling him, the Nigerians from the north were saying, look, these guys are our brothers. This divide in the country was done by the colonialists to divide and rule the people. My brothers are in Niger and their brothers are here. Like, you know, the former president, the family came from Maradi to Daura. You getting me? So with this kind of situation, you cannot blame Burkina Faso for being very suspicious.
Well, let's talk about their strong reaction to the issue. The military government of Burkina Faso and the alliance of Sahel states, that's Mali and Niger Republic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
The bloc has described the incident as a serious violation of sovereignty. What factors do you think could explain Burkina Faso's hardline response? Is it security fears? Is it political messaging, or wider regional tensions?
I think there's nothing like a wider regional tension. There's not that much of a political affair. Well,
I mean,
politics is
Mali,
involved,
Burkina Faso, Niger
security
pulled out of ECOWAS.
Yes, you know, those three nations, you know, they have a security pact. An attack on one country is an attack on the rest. And you know that the remaining countries in ECOWAS are more reactionary, are more in the pockets of certain Western countries than being people who are interested in the development of that country. You look at what happened at Benin Republic. It was simply because Mr. President extended his term of office from 5 years to 7. And that is what brought back the coup. You see the point? So it is mostly a security matter where we know that these people, there are certain forces outside this country that wants to remove these people in power. If you look at what happened in Mali recently, shockingly and surprisingly, a bunch of ragtag terrorists called JNIM were able to cause so much crisis around Mali. I think should be larger than Nigeria, or about the same size of Nigeria. It's quite a huge country. But how was it that they were able to almost close down the country, having logistic support and everything, so that they could not allow fuel to enter certain major cities in the country? To a point, Russia had to fly in fuel from Russia to those countries. Niger had to truck in fuel to, in fact, they were mostly flown in. And right now, in fact, we had news all over. Oh, the Malian government was about to fall just about a month ago. So much, I was just interestingly following up that matter. It got to a point that even the Western government started giving a security alert, that their indigents should leave the country. But when I knew that these people have been able to solve their problem was when America put out a report from the Department of State, a verified account, that they thank the Malian government for being able to sort out those security problems. They returned. The embassy had closed down. You see the point? So when these people were suppressed, from what we heard, there were certain key, in fact, there were 2 terrorists that America, one of them, about $10 million was put on his head. Is from the Middle East. He was killed by Malian security forces. 2 of them were killed. The other one was about $20-something million of it, between 15 and 20-something million. How could these people come in if they didn't have support, external support? So when you see this kind of incident happening in these countries who are very serious about sovereignty, which the rest of most African countries don't have, they will take their security extremely seriously, whether it is on ground or it is on the air. And they have security alliances with nations like Russia and China, you know, and Turkey, and even Iran. They are teaching them how to make a lot of equipment. So those people take their security extremely seriously. and they are working on it. So when these things like this happen, Nigerians will be surprised that this country in Africa, because we believe Africans, this laissez-faire attitude towards a situation, that we don't mind whether it works or it no work, we are still go about our business. That there are nations in Africa that will follow globally accepted standard in managing affairs. So this is what is happening. Nigeria should not be surprised. That is the same way, if Nigeria is serious about its own security, we will not politicize it or ethnicize it. You understand me? We will be doing exactly what those people.
Yes, you're talking about global best practices, and would you say this as impunity has caused Nigeria that global best practices, because perhaps they're exporting what is happening in Nigeria elsewhere?
Yeah, you are right. You see, because you see, when you look at attitude of Nigeria, for example, you go to South Africa today, you see Nigerians who take certain of our habits down there. You hear South Africans complain about how Nigerians would say there's nothing you can do, whether I call police, we like or not, we have settled that matter, which means the police have been compromised even there. The same thing we do here. So we don't believe that other nations act and think differently. You understand me? We try to compromise systems wherever we go, the same way we do here. So that is it. They simply felt this is the way, just go there and do whatever you can. And again, to that is our own thinking, that this was not an operation. Do you understand me? To certain people, to the Burkinabes, the suspicion is that these guys are doing exactly what we have been seeing, the attempt to destroy and take over our government. You know, for example, let me show you something. Ukraine, this is one of the reasons why personally I want the war of Ukraine to end and the current Ukrainian president to be out of power. Because the West used Ukraine to cause a lot of havoc in the Sahel region. You know, the Ukrainian government, both this thing in Senegal and one of their ministers came out one time to say there was an incident that happened in Mali where 82 Russian soldiers were killed and 40 Malian soldiers were killed in one operation in the northern part of Mali. And the Ukrainian ministry, the external affairs ministry, I think the second minister, came out to boast about how they were able to give logistic support. It was like a Freudian slip. He made that statement without knowing what he was saying, or without, considering the repercussion, how those people will react. And the embassy, the ambassador of this thing in Kenya, no, not Kenya, in Senegal, which is next door, made the same statement. And that thing made, because they couldn't understand how these people could have that kind of logistic support. You know, so that thing caused a lot of crisis. And these people, they had to, I think Mali had to, sever diplomatic relationship with Ukraine. And the accusation, the Ukrainian ambassador to Burkina Faso was invited by the president, and the same thing in the Niger Republic, because they have a security pact. Because what affects one certainly will affect the other. You know, so this is the kind of situation that happened and is happening in the Sahel. So the same thing with Nigeria, that there could be suspicion in the mind of the Burkinabes that Nigeria is being used. Right now, look at what happened, what could have happened with Niger Republic. Look at what has happened in Benin Republic. Are you getting me? That Nigeria is being used by no other country than France to carry out another operation in their country or in the Sahel region. You see the point? So this could be at the crux of the matter. So what we are saying here, oh, it was a mistake, the flight had a problem or this, it may not be how those people are viewing it. We are talking from our own endpoint. And to me, I seem to play.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he went to, they followed a script, and they were trying to do the same Senate session they did when they went to invade Iraq or Afghanistan. They tried to do the same thing. Oh, this man is using the money. And if not for the fact that the whole world rose up, the black community for the first time, whether it was in the United States, in Europe, in Africa, in Brazil, people rose up to say, don't start the same thing you did in Libya. This is what you're doing. In fact, it ended up with that man being replaced. They brought in another person to take over that command. You get the point I'm trying to say? So you don't blame them for being ex-manager in this thing. The overall head of the company globally was detained in Mali. This is something that can never happen anywhere in Africa.
Let's talk about the risk of escalation. Any confrontation between the Sahel states could draw in, any confrontation between Nigeria and Burkina Faso could draw in the other Sahel states?
Yes.
Or wasn't the regional instability? What are the short and long-term risks if this issue escalates beyond diplomacy? The federal government said the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has stepped in, taken over the issue from the Nigerian Air Force. So the Air Force is quiet. The federal government is also quiet, not revealing what's there's been no updates since Wednesday when the spokesperson for the ministry spoke, and yesterday it's the same report that the soldiers and the aircraft are still in detention.
Yes, I think it is the best thing for Nigeria to do for now. Number one, allowing diplomacy to play itself out, and I do believe that diplomacy will finally sort out the problem. There will not be any kinetic solution to this crisis, because Nigerians are not ready to be pulled into a war that we have no interest or benefit in.
The former senator has advocated for that.
Yes, I think Arise also, Senator Arise, has said, how ready is Nigeria to go to war when even intelligence within the country have been provided for by the Nigerian government about insecurity in Nigeria? There was this thing the man held this year. You understand me? There was an interview he held this year, and he spoke extensively about his meeting with the Nigerian security chiefs, and he provided extensive information about the sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria and where all the camps are. Made that statement that Nigeria has not done anything about it. So now you are asking me if this thing goes beyond this thing. Now when you look at Nigeria has more money, Nigeria alive. I can bet you that. You see, these are people, if you look at the way they fight their wars, they are, in fact, Burkina Faso is even making their own drones outside buying them. They don't have the kind of Air Force we have. I doubt they even have a jet they fly. What they are using is drones. They buy some drone like this, Akinji drones, Bayraktar drones from Turkey, and then they make up a lot of their own equipments to use in fight, especially drones. That is how they have been able to successfully, of all the three Sahelian countries, Burkina Faso has been the most successful in fighting insurgency in that country. And you can pay tribute to their drone warfare, which is just about the best among the Sahelian countries. And on ground, I discussed with some people who are from that country. On ground, they have massive support of the people. The man is well loved, not just by Burkinabes. You know how Africans or across the globe, people love the young man. So when you look at these two things, you see that it makes no sense to pull Nigeria into a battle that Nigeria may likely be disgraced at the end of the day. Are you getting me? Yeah. Because when you look at the population across West Africa, whether it is Nigeria, Benin Republic, Togo, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, any country in West Africa, that man is more popular than the presidents of all these countries. These countries are simply being propped up by the West. This is the real truth of the matter. So it is not possible for us to use any other option. Right now we are fighting insurgency that either we are reluctant or unable to truly face. Are you getting me? Is it now a nation that has a prepared army? The total terrorists working in Nigeria today are not more than 5,000. And yet you had even a minister of defense who said that the forest is so thick no bomb can penetrate it. You see the point? So when you have this kind of army that has been military, that has been politicized, our own what we call security architecture is compromised, to say the least. And how then are you going to go to another country that you don't even have a land border with, to go and do a surgical operation and come back of it alive? I doubt it. And look at the diplomatic result that will come out of it. Is going to be very terrible. Okay,
recently at the US, the Nigerian ocean liner has been seized by the American government, and now they're in Burkina Faso. We're having our aircraft being grounded, and in here there's insecurity and Boko Haram, the ISWAP, and the rest of them troubling Nigeria from left, right, and center here. Do you think Nigeria is really positioned to go to war with any country?
Nigeria is basically, we keep on saying this or that, Nigeria is basically a failed state.
Sorry,
Yes.
I would want you to take that back.
But no, I cannot.
Allegedly.
No. Let us. It is purely an analysis. If you analyze situations like this,
I insist you
no,
take
wait
that
a minute.
back.
No, wait. Let me
It's
ask you a
alleged to
question.
be.
No, listen. Let me ask you a question. Look at what makes a nation a failed state before you ask me. If you ask me, then I can explain it, and then you can tell me whether it is working or not. We may have institutions. Are the institutions working? Okay, look at the level of penetration. Nigeria is more insecure as we speak than Sudan, that is currently fighting a civil war. You had Nigeria when this war started in Sudan, who was schooling, and they travel. Sudan is about the size of Nigeria. They travel 2,000-3,000 kilometers in buses without any security. The roads are good. When you look at the United Nations penetration level, Nigeria is red. You know that it means that people cannot drive across a country, or foreigners cannot just decide, okay, let me travel to Nigeria and I'm safe. Who is protecting you and me now? I keep on saying that I pay my this in 2,000 naira every month to protect myself. You know, from basic thieves, not the serious one. You look at institutions of state, how are they working? You see the point? So we go back, you look at it, when you look at basic facts on ground, you can comfortably say this is what is happening in Nigeria. We may not see what is going on elsewhere. Let me tell you, we in NKERUEWEM, we are very safe. You understand me? Just take a trip outside to the neighboring state and see the level of insecurity in those states.
All right, let's let the listener come into the discussion this morning. You're listening to the Melting Point, the first for the week. Here, Memories 96.5 FM. Time is 10:41 on the clock, and it's time for you to join the discussion. You can do so by dialing 0823 085 7755, 0829 066 6909. When you call in, try to be as concise as possible and as civil as possible. While we're expecting your calls, let's talk about what Nigeria could have done differently. The aircraft was reportedly on a ferry mission to Portugal and diverted after a technical concern. Could Nigeria have done more to prevent this situation through better flight clearances, or is this simply an unavoidable operational accident?
I think it is very avoidable, the way and manner we started it. I know what is a big problem too is our management of the crisis. Nigerian government started by telling clearly something that was untrue, that these people have been released and on the way to Portugal and all that, which was not true. You know, so it now makes a lot of people to feel, look, it is not the problem of poor information management. Okay, the reporters, they didn't know how to report the matter. This was an outright telling of an untruth situation, that this is what is happening. Now, if the journalists did not come out to say, oh, let us go to, or maybe the families did not contact certain people, we would not have known the truth. We would have said, okay, the people are back. So why the management of information on the first hand is very bad, and that is the first thing that should have been done properly. Manage the information properly. And how do you manage information on this situation? Simply come out openly and tell the truth. This is what happened, at least to the level of your ability to tell the truth until those people come out. Oh, they're still in detention. We appeal to the Burkinabes to release our citizens, you know, and then you immediately send you have an embassy in this thing. Whoever is there, whether there's an ambassador, there must be somebody, an attaché sitting down there as the highest person. Let him immediately contact the Foreign Affairs Ministry of Burkina Faso to see how they can suppress this thing. We are brothers, let us work together and see what we can do. These reactive measures to everything is always very wrong. And the first thing they did was to tell us what was not true. That these people are back there on the coast. And you allow us to source, it creates suspicion. And what if even the Burkinabes are monitoring the media in Nigeria to know that, okay, this is what they are saying and they know it's not true? That means that these people, they are guilty of something. You see the point? I do believe that the matter will be sorted out. When we had the French, many series of French and Western this in being arrested for one crime or the other, at the end of the day, they do go. It may not be immediate, but there is a continuous connection between the Foreign Affairs Ministry and the government to see that they can settle this matter.
Yeah, that takes me to the next question for you. Now that the Nigerian High Commissioner to Burkina Faso has stepped in, and according to her, she said the diplomatic discussions are ongoing. How long do you think this will take?
Well, it can take, it all depends on what the Burkinabés, because they are not really that forthcoming with information. What are they?
They've not got any conditionalities.
Yes, no, they have not. They are still, possibly they are still carrying out certain investigation to find out the real intention of these people. And even though me, I doubt what will a C-130 do, I know they use it for low flying, carrying troops and equipment. That is exactly the C-130 that was used in the Entebbe raid. You understand me? So nobody knows exactly what they were, you know, information are not forthcoming what they are. Did they find parachute in the place? Did they find equipment, GPS equipment that can be used to help those people track? Okay.
We have our first call on the program. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, you're welcome to Melting Points.
This is not a kiddies program.
Okay.
This is Melting Point on Memories 96.5 FM.
Uncle Yaki
083 085 7755 089 06669 09. Tim Tom is asking the question: how come a country will go to fix a military aircraft with 11 soldiers on board? I think Nigerian authorities bungle the issue as usual. France is now eating deep into Nigerian economy, including tax collection and dedicated to from outside. The question is, do Nigerians love and trust their leaders? Hello, good morning. 083 085 7755 089 06669 09. We're streaming live on YouTube at Memories TV Online. You can drop your comment there and we'll read it out here this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Newsroom and Otekom.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome.
My name is Mr. David, calling from Idide.
Go
You are
ahead.
not to present.
All right, Dave, you're welcome.
Yes, I have to comment you about the program. You people are doing a good job.
Thank you.
Firstly, my question is, why is Nigeria politicizing everything? I need to know, doesn't mean that Nigeria doesn't have an airspace who can monitor other countries or try anything. Two, we heard over the radio that they did that they have released it. But now I'm good to hear that the woman has not been released. This, my final question is that I'm not happy about this morning. I had the approval of the Eagle Man, Makasi Big People. Let us have the beginning of one, or we don't have a super in the Bible. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you,
All right,
Mr.
thank you.
David, for calling. 083 085 7755 089 06669 09. We're still taking calls and messages on WhatsApp. Well, Nigeria's military capacity and priorities. Nigeria's armed forces are already stretched by insurgency, banditry, and internal security challenges. Given current security pressures at home, would opening a new external front make strategic sense for Nigeria?
Completely, it doesn't make any sense.
Let's take this call before you continue. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Welcome to the program.
Yeah, my name is Uwemedi Mo, calling from Italy Industrial.
Thank you for joining us. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I still can't comprehend the whole of this thing. From the invasion of Nigerian military to settle the cold issue in the Republic and all of the flight saga and all of that. For me, Nigeria has a very big problem. And people used to say, when you have wound in your jaw, you don't need to blow trumpets. We have wound in our jaw and Nigeria is going to blow trumpets. I can't comprehend it. Nigerians are dying in their titles in the north, and then we are now interfering in something that doesn't even concern us. What kind of big brother attitude is that? You are trying to help somebody when you are old. You cannot help yourself. In fact, the whole thing is, I can't comprehend. But the Burkina Faso man, The guy is just doing the needful. He cares about his people. He cares about the security of his people, and he's not. Everybody should know he's not joking with it. It's only Nigeria that we joke with our security. Nigerian.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Well, looks like we're
Thanks.
lost the.
Oh, yes, it's still on.
Thank you. Thank you.
The network is
Thank you,
fluctuating.
Oladipo.
I guess you made your
Apologies for
point.
that. Must have been your network. I mean, Otorka asked the question about the opening a new external front, combining with what we already have at home.
I think Nigeria is so troubled that we don't need to go to war with any country at all. We don't need to
A
start.
follow-up to that is, I mean, we are the president is the chairman of the ECOWAS, right?
Yeah.
So is the big brother more like a compulsory that we have to do something about it than just acting as a big brother?
Is it
We
the
don't have-
president? Our
there is-
president?
Yes, we
No,
don't
the
have.
current president of ECOWAS now is Ghanaian president.
Is
It
it?
does, yeah, the conference.
Okay. With this Sierra Leone also.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, we have a problem. You see, there has to be a moral ground. Even America, before they go to war in this country, they convince or even tell lies to their people. This is a good reason for us to go. In Nigeria today, what is the reason? Look at the people. Have you been able to carry your people along? Nations, when they go to war, carry their people along. Nigeria, on the this thing, on the what would I say? On the heart and mind front, no Nigerian, no sensible Nigerian wants to listen to the president in Nigeria going to war with or trying to do anything military with any country.
All right.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Otorka, and my name is Urombakara. I call from you.
Welcome.
All right, we don't mind.
Thank you for
My
joining us.
my own take on that is, if I were the country that is having the Nigerian plane, I would have blown the plane alongside with the people.
Udambaka,
I wouldn't have held it there.
Udambaka will not appreciate such a take on air.
Because we
Listen,
have problems here in Nigeria, and this Nigeria is go there to maybe to show up.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Udambaka, here's the thing.
Well,
As
sorry.
much as you have the leverage, you have the floor to say you air your views,
Yes.
we do not appreciate extreme views on the
Yes.
program. You cannot advocate for a Nigerian aircraft to be blown up in another country.
With
And
Nigerian
Again, you need to
you
understand
can't
that
say that on air.
It's
those
still-
people,
it's
they
still-
have brothers, they have wives, they have children.
Yeah.
What about them? So you cannot carry out those extreme actions.
So let's get to round things off this morning by talking about the best outcome that serves Nigeria's interest. Nigeria wants its personnel and aircraft released without damaging regional relations. Looking at national.
Hello,
Good morning, welcome to the program.
sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I want to commend the Burkina Faso
What's
government.
your name and your
What's your
location?
name?
Okay, my name is Elidion Commitment.
Go ahead.
So what happened is
Matters are handled in nations because we joke with security here in Nigeria.
Well, this Nigeria Burkina Faso aircraft incident raises bigger questions than the fate of one aircraft or 11 soldiers. It touches on sovereignty, diplomacy, regional trust, and how Nigeria balances firmness with restraint in a volatile neighborhood. As diplomatic efforts continue behind closed doors, Nigeria must decide how to protect its personnel, defend its national pride, and avoid turning a technical incident into a regional crisis. So whether this ends at the negotiating table or sets a new tone for relations with the Sahel, one thing is clear: how Nigeria handles this moment will speak loudly to friends and neighbors across the West African region. Thank you for staying tuned to the Melting Point today. Join us again tomorrow for another insightful edition. Thank you to our analyst, Otorka Enquiry, for coming today.
Yeah, thank you for thanking me.
Yeah, of course. Until tomorrow's edition, my name is NYAKNNO Albert.
All right, just as just as former President Jonathan returned from Kudu, we expect our soldiers back soon. So congratulations to them in advance. I am ANIEFIOK.
Okay.